Hey guys, my name is Charlie, and this is my first official movie YouTube blog. I have a lot of plans for this. I plan on making weekly shows. I'm going to be setting up a blog, an actual blog, to keep track of everything, my thoughts, anything I watch. But this is my first one, and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about me, tell you some of my favorite movies of the past couple years, and just kind of get to know you. You get to know me. Hopefully, I will slowly but surely get an audience. I live in upstate New York, central New York, and I'm a huge movie fan. I have been ever since I was young. Uh, my favorite movie of all time is American Beauty. It's a beautiful movie. I love it. So yeah, hopefully this will go well. If not, we'll see what happens. But like I said, for this show, I'm going to start off by a few movies that I really, really adore and that I personally think everybody should see at least once in their lives. I my first pick, I have five here. My first pick is a movie that came out a couple years ago. It got great reviews, got a couple Oscar nominations, but no one really saw it. It is the beautifully heartbreaking film Blue Valentine, starring Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. Williams and Gosling are beyond phenomenal in this movie. It is about a married couple. It's in past and present day. Basically, present, their marriage is crumbling. They have a child. They're falling out of love. But what makes it really great is it flashbacks to when they first met and their first dates and them getting to know each other. So it makes it even more heartbreaking. As great as Ryan Gosling is in this movie, and I adore him, I think he's a great actor. I think he was robbed of an Oscar nomination for Drive, which I loved. The movie completely belongs to Michelle Williams. I it's hard to see what she goes through on screen and all the emotions that she shows. It's a beautiful, beautiful performance, and it's probably one of my favorites. And I always love Michelle Williams. I grew up watching Dawson's Creek, and but this made me realize Michelle Williams is definitely someone to look out for. Um, she's just phenomenal with Blue Valentine, Brokeback Mountain, My Week in Maryland, Wendy and Lucy, which I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's brilliant. It is the simplest movie, but it's just a beautiful movie. So there's Blue Valentine. It is on Blu-ray, obviously. All these movies I talked about today are in my movie collection, of course. So that's that one. Um, on a little happier note, since it's beginning to be the holiday season, I figured I would talk about my favorite Christmas movie of all time, and I know a lot of people share the same view as me. Um, it didn't get great reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like 63%, something like that. Um, but it really has a following, and a lot of people adore it. It is Love Actually, you can see that. It has everybody in it. Hugh Grant, Laura Linney, Keira Knightley, Alan Rickman, Liam Neeson, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman. It's a bunch of different stories. It starts 5 weeks until Christmas and ends Christmas Eve before the very end, anyways. Um, and it's a bunch of different stories of couples in love in London. And it's very, very funny. It makes my heart bubble. Like, I get the bubbles in my stomach every time I watch it. It's adorable, and the way all the stories intertwine is just a great movie, and it runs about 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I honestly wouldn't have cared if it ran an extra half hour, 45 minutes, because I was so invested in these characters. It's a movie I've seen it at least 40 times since it came out in 2003. I saw it a ton of times in theaters. I was only 13. I don't know how I saw it so many times, but I did. I remember the first time I saw it was with my grandma and my great grandma on Thanksgiving, and I mean, right then I knew it was a special movie, and it is one of my favorites. And if you have not seen it, you need to see it. Okay. Next up is probably one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen of all time. Go figure. Came out last year. Excuse me. It was robbed of tons of Oscar nominations. At the Oscars, it went completely unnoticed. It is this amazing movie called Shame, starring Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan. It's definitely not a movie for everybody. It is pretty graphic with its depictions of sex. It is about a businessman who is also a sex addict. His sister ends up moving in, and they had a hard time as children, and him trying to struggle with his addiction of sex and trying to take care of this woman who is just going completely crazy. She's depressed. She's a basket case, pretty much, and it's a great movie. It's definitely something you should watch. It's disturbing in a way I've never seen before. And as much sex and nudity there is, none of it is, you know, great. It is not a turn on or anything. It's actually quite depressing. There's a sex scene near the end of the film. It runs probably about 3.5 minutes, and it is the most depressing thing I saw all year last year. It's a groundbreaking movie, and I wish that people in America weren't so prudy when it came to sex, because this movie deserves to have been seen, because it's so underrated. Like, check it out if you can see it. I believe it's on demand on Cinemax right now, so check it out if you have Cinemax. Okay, moving on. I'm running a bit long. Sorry, I hope you guys are still with me. Probably recently the movie I've rewatched the most since it's come out. It really made Emma Stone into a star. It was Easy A, and I don't know what to say about this movie except the fact that it is completely hysterical. Um, Everybody in it: Stanley Tucci, Patricia Clarkson, Lisa Kudrow, Thomas Hayden Church, um, everybody, Amanda Bynes, everybody's on the top of their game. It is hysterical. It is the funniest teen comedy I've seen. I don't even know how long. A lot of people say it's the best teen comedy since Mean Girls. I personally think it's better than Mean Girls. um, Emma Stone is a hell of a lot better than Lindsay Lohan, that's for sure. Hello, have any of you seen Liz and Dick? IRS my face. It's hysterical, and now they're showing it on FX all the time, which is bad. Because every time I see it on, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch Easy A for the 20,000th time. I mean, it's so quotable. It's so smart. I quote it all the time. It's so crazy. So check this movie out. It is not your typical teen comedy. It's like, the John Hughes films. Breakfast at Tiffany's. I meant The Breakfast Club. Some movies over I am. But check it out. It is hysterical, and it is adorable, and it's fun, it's funny, it's breezy. Loved it. Okay, another criminally underrated film. Horror is my favorite genre, and I also think that it is the most underappreciated genre because there's so much crap that comes out. So when there's a good horror movie that comes out, you don't a lot of times you won't hear about it because people just don't care and they don't take horror seriously. Case in point, the American remake of Let Me In. It is the remake of the Swedish film Let the Right One In. Very, very good movie. I really liked it. I've only seen it once. Um, but I have to say, one of the very few movies I prefer the American remake of was this one. It was very romantic. It was the best vampire movie I've ever seen. It is about a little boy who meets a girl who happens to be a vampire. Go figure, we've all been there, right? And it's about their relationship, him trying to protect her. Beautiful movie, very well done. It's just a great movie all around. Okay, so those are all the movies that I want to talk about. Um, at the end of every show, I decided that I'd have a pick, a movie pick for you should see. It'll either be one of my favorites or a recently released movie that's gone unnoticed. Case in point, a recent movie that's gone unnoticed. It really didn't get very good reviews. I wasn't expecting much from it. It's Amy Heckerlings who did Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She did this movie. It's actually a vampire movie. Didn't even think about it. Called Vamps. It has Lisa Silverstone and Kristen Ritter as vampires who they're like vegan vampires. And it is adorable. It takes place in New York City, and I love the city, and it made me miss the city. And um, Kristen Ritter ends up falling to this guy who happens to be a vampire hunter. I just thought it was adorable. It also has Sigourney Weaver in it, and Malcolm McDowell, who I don't know what's up with him lately. I just recently saw him on a Home Alone made-for-TV movie. It was a Home Alone movie. It was a little bizarre. But it is adorable. I really enjoyed it, and I think people should try to give it a chance because it was a lot of fun. So, like I said, my name is Charlie, and I am going to be doing this at least once a week. I go to the movies all the time. I watch everything on demand. I just kind of wanted to give you a feel for my favorites. So, those are very few of my favorites. Believe me, you'll know plenty more if you keep watching. So I hope I entertained you, and I hope I will see you guys and get some followers, and maybe you'll see me at the movies. See you next week.